Hey everyone, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Uh, I guess 50% of you are Americans just waking up, and 50% are the other people are from somewhere else, and you've been awake for a bit or for a longer time. Perhaps it's 3 a.m. in the morning right now for you, and you live in Japan. Who knows? Perhaps you're very dedicated to watching this channel. Thank you if you are. Uh, I have a story for you all before I get started. I'm just gonna get started immediately. With there. I was told that this channel was a part of like this big grand conspiracy. There was a guy that commented on a few of my videos and sent me some messages, and he told me essentially that I was actually an ESFP and that I was just misleading all of you all. I'm actually just an ESFP pretending to be an INFJ, and I'm trying to manipulate all of you, and I'm trying to trick you all. But in reality, I'm just an ESFP. That was the base theory. It was original. I like it. I like original theories. But that said, why would I, if I was an ESFP, why would I pretend not to be? I think an ESFP YouTuber would be so popular. Like, if you're an ESFP, tell me, like, start a YouTube channel. Please start a YouTube channel and talk about being an ESFP and talk about what that means to you, and start making your videos. I'm gonna share your link. I'm gonna promote you. Like, I believe you can blow up. I'm sure you could blow up. I'm sure you could be pretty great if you did. Uh, yeah, it was a very elaborate theory. Uh, by now, people have thought I'm so many different things. I've heard ESFJ, I've heard INTP, I've heard ESFP, I've heard ENTP, I've heard INTJ, I've heard INTP. I probably said it already. I've heard ISTP, and I've heard ESTP. But that's just how it is. We're all capable of being pretty much anything. We're all like, I think everyone has this ability to kind of relate as well. When they listen to you, we can all relate to one another, and we're all able to see and connect things in other people to ourselves. But we're also able to kind of realize that we're unique. When you meet an INFJ, it's not always like you're going to understand them. If you're an INFJ, you meet another INFJ, it's not always like you're going to understand them. Where we won't always understand everyone just because they share our personality type. It's not enough. It's very rare for me to meet somebody that I feel that I can actually relate to on a stronger, on a significant, on a profound level. It's very rare for me, and it's the same like with finding love. It's not. Some people say, "Oh, ENFP is the perfect partner," or "the ENTP is the perfect partner for you." But in reality, like, I meet so many ENFPs out there, and they're sometimes said to be my ideal type, but I couldn't care for 99% of them. I couldn't care for on that level. Like, I'm sure they could be a great friend of mine. I'm sure we could connect and have a lot of fun together. But I met the love of my life 1.5 years ago. Well, 2 years ago. Now time flies very fast, and when I met her, it was very significant for me. And she was she felt like the biggest mystery I've ever encountered in my life. And I don't think that's I don't think that's a common experience. I don't think it's meant to be. I don't think um, most people are meant to hit you that profoundly. I think that's, for a lot, from at least for me, it's something very unique, something very special. And I titled this stream, "I'm Getting Past Unhealthy Ideals," and I wanted to talk about that because I think we all have this ideal of what we are striving to become. Like, you have this picture in your head of what you're gonna become when you're actualized, when you finally find yourself, or when you can find yourself and you can finally hold on to yourself. Sometimes you're able to be that ideal for a little bit, but then you lose it and then you feel bad and you go home and you're like, why can't I be that ideal? Why can't I hold up this person? Why can't I be like that? And that's the big struggle, this internalized guilt, this shame of yourself, this pressure and anxiety to be something not. And I really wish that we can all relieve ourselves from that. I feel like it's time to let go. At least I feel that now, 2018, it's time I let go. It's time that I finally face what I'm not living up to and realize who I am and stand up for that and stop feeling stressed or anxious over not being able to be like that. And I'm going to tell you what I sometimes wish I was. I sometimes wish I was that kind of person that could, start up a YouTube video and have all the answers, have it all figured out. I wish I was the kind of person that knew everything about everything. I wish I was the kind of person that could speak with confidence and say, this is 100% the answer. This is how things are. This is how it really works. This is how the types all work. This is how everything is. And I wish it could be that simple. But then I realize who I really am. I realize that I'm not the person that stands up and shares and says all the answers. I'm the person that takes a step out into the unknown and stumbles and goes like off balance and starts like, I don't know, just trying to make sense of this unknown, trying to understand this world that none of us have really fully dived into. And I try to explain it and I'm trying to question it and I'm trying to understand it. And, I'm just the person asking the question. And I think all my life, I'm always going to be that person that just asks the questions. The person that shares the doubt, the person that stumbles, the person that explores the unknown, because that's where I love to be, I don't like when everything is finished. I don't like when all the answers are finally written. I like to be the person that's writing the answers and writing the questions and starting to dig that out. And that's the shape of what this channel is going to be for 2018. This is going to be a channel for questions, for investigation, for exploration, not a channel for answers, not a channel for what we've already heard a million times. We are the people that are going to be questioning the stereotypes, questioning the memes, questioning the simple answers. We're going to be the people that build and shape the new answers. And eventually we are going to have done something pretty amazing. Eventually, I feel like we are kind of like bringing new life to Carl Jung. Like when I started out working with New Jungian typology and Christian Johansson and other people, like we were just trying to place Carl Jung in a modern context. We were saying, okay, so Carl Jung thinks this. What is the scientific basis for that? Can we measure that? Can we understand that? What does neuroscience say about that? What does genetic research say about that? So we started out exploring that and we started reading studies and never question the memes. We started just trying to find answers and try if personality types are real, then this is how it works. If the INFJ is real, then this is probably how the INFJ works from a scientific perspective. And what I keep saying is personality type is about flow. Personality types are not about what you do. Like it's not about what you're doing in the moment. It's not about your actions or your current behavior. It's not about like this persona that you put on around your friends. It's about how you feel. And it's a deeply emotional question. It's a question that has so much to do with your emotional life, how you experience life. God damn it, you're hilarious, people. Uh, it's about how you experience life and what you do, you know. So imagine this. Imagine I would try to become an ESTP. Imagine I would try to become, I don't know, Donald Trump or I don't know who. Like I was in the car. I should tell you, I was in the car with an ESTP recently, uh, and he was like, he offered us to give us a ride, and we were like, "Yeah, thanks. That's awesome. That's real nice of you, you know." So we got in the car with him, and he drove us to the station. And he drove so fast, like he just put his foot on the gas, and he was like screaming forward, like he was driving past all the cars, and people were honking behind us, and he was like, "I'm kind of an antisocial driver." I And he was like, "Am I going too fast for you guys?" And I'm like, and we were like, "Maybe a little." And he was like, we're almost there, just a little bit longer." And then I feared for my life. I literally feared for my life sitting in the car with that guy. He was such an adrenaline junkie. He At some point it was pitch dark. It was like I was scared police would come, or I was seriously afraid of my life for a second there. Anyways, if I were to become an ESTP, that would require a few things. I would have to somehow manage those nerves. Like, imagine if I was sitting in that car with him for a few hours. Imagine if I was the person driving that car. Imagine if I was an ESTP driving a car like that. Like for me, as an INFJ, I would feel that would really hit against my nerves. You know, as an INFJ, you can have serious nerve issues. You have serious issues with nerves and reflexes, and like being rushed. I hate being rushed. It's really difficult for me when I'm rushed. I perform terrible when people push me and ask me to hurry up with something. Uh, but an ESTP loves it. You know, an ESTP loves that thrill. They love pushing the gas down, and they love being able to just scream forward all the cars and just get there as fast as possible. When you push them to be quick, that's when they are at their best. And then it's being on stage and being in like around other people. It's being present, and it's being attentive to others, and it's being on all the time. It's being able to constantly have your senses on. It's all those things. It would really not it would not work for me. I get exhausted, I get overwhelmed, and I disappear, you know. The main critique my girlfriend and my friends have against me are all the same. Like, Erik, you don't listen. Why don't you listen? Come on, listen up. Did you hear anything I said? And for me, like I keep just disappearing into my own world. I can't help it. Uh, if I could, I wouldn't do it, but I can't help it. I just disappear. It's so easy for my head to just space out. And I start thinking about something, and I know I'm supposed to be active and to be present, but I can't. And I'm gonna get back to the question of the unhealthy ideal for a second there, because I I felt this pressure, like I said, to always have the answers and to be able to speak with confidence, and I felt this pressure to have conviction. You know, when you can believe in something 100%. But I kind of realized that I'm not the kind of person that has or is capable of having blind conviction. I can't have blind conviction because I'm like a scientist. You know, I've been fostered by people that always doubt. I always doubt everything. I doubt myself. I doubt everyone else. I question everything. Like I never take anything at face value. I never just believe in anything. And that's why when I talk about neo-Jungian typology, I talk about finding scientific evidence for what I say. I talk about finding tests to measure it. I talk about being able to create like studies and research projects. I can't, some people have this, I think there are intuitives out there that are true seers, that have this like religious ability to be like a seer, to just know things. There are INFJs and INFPs out there that say they can just know something. They can just know exactly how something is. And they just get an idea and then they believe in that idea wholeheartedly. Well, I get that idea, but I don't believe in it. I question it. Where did that idea come from? Is it true? How can I prove it? What does it mean? I get that idea, but I start to kind of dig around it, and I try to connect it, and I try to test it out, and I try to research it. And that's why I realized that I'm far more of a scientist than of a seer. And in one way, I'm kind of proud of that. And I hope that no matter what you do, like if you have that gift of just being able to guess, and just being able to know, and just being able to feel it out, then that's great for you. Like start up your own seer channel, create your own spiritual videos, go out there, read chakras, like do your thing, whatever it is. But for me, that's not me. I I have to know that I'm doing something. I have to objectively kind of figure out how it works, and I have to have an explanation for it. And I think that is a divide in the intuitive community. There are those intuitives out there that have this spiritual gene, like it's a part of their core, of their inner makeup, that they just know things. Where for the rest of us, the other intuitives, we have that scientist gene. We never know anything, so we try to prove it. So we try to figure out how it works. So we question it. So we test it. And that's just the divide. That's why some of us are religious and some aren't. That's why some of us can believe in God or a higher essence or a higher being, while other people can't. And it has nothing to do with being an intuitive, and it has nothing to do with being a feeling type. But then when you kind of meet other people of the same type, and you recognize that, oh, that person is religious and I'm not, then you go like, how can you be my type? How can you be the same type as me? And that's when you kind of have to realize that in the Myers-Briggs type indicator, there are only 16 personality types. Realize how little that is, if in the infinite complexity of being human, in all of the genetics, in all of the DNA, and all of the different forms of DNA that we have inside of us, in all the different neurons in your brain, and how your brain is developed. There are so many differences, and MBTI only has 16 personality types to try to explain all of this. So when you're going to meet other people of your type, you're not always going to relate to them, because some of them are going to have such major issues with you, so many major differences from you. For example, some INFJs may be more aggressive, where other people may be more peaceful. And Magic Dragon Pete asks me, is my TI strong? My introverted thinking, Perhaps it sounds like that. But the thing is, I don't actually use introverted thinking that often. And how I use it is not that elaborate. If you compare it to an INTP, there's lots of... Martin is aggressive. If you compare me to an INTP, you would see such major differences in how we think and in how we question and how we analyze the world. I tend to say that I think more like I have this scientific inclination, but I am not driven by data or by intelligence. I tend to say that I'm not an intelligent person. I tend to say that I don't value being intelligent so much. I tend to say that I value kindness higher than intelligence. I value empathy higher than intelligence. uh, I listen to what somebody says or what they do, and then I kind of echo. I was observing INFJs lately, INFPs as well, actually, and I noticed we do something. We echo people. So we say this person thinks like that, and that person thinks like this. In an argument, imagine an argument like somebody has offended you, and you ask an INFJ or an INFP what's wrong. The INFJ or the INFP will often answer, well, he was feeling bad, or he is feeling depressed, or he's struggling with that, or he's going through that. Like, we empathize, we understand, we accept, we go and introspect, and we try to find reasons in everything. We think life has reasons behind everything, purpose, human motives. We see a world full of human motives. But the INTP and the INTJ, like, they're wired just so differently in that. uh, INTJs and INTPs, they come from the perspective of the critical thinker, in a sense, of everything being mechanical in its nature, everything being everything being guided by rationality. The world, if for an INFJ, the world is guided by reasons. INTJ or the INTP, it's guided by rationale, by science, or by uh, more objective forms of motives and of goals and ambitions. It's guided by your knowledge of a situation. The more, if you have the INTJ or the INTP believes, if you have the correct knowledge, you won't do any mistakes. If you understand something, you won't make any mistakes. If you do something wrong, it's because you lack knowledge. It's because you're stupid. It's because you don't understand. It's so they try to share knowledge. They try to teach you. They try to tell you, this is how it works. This is how you do it. But an INFJ comes from the perspective of purpose. If you make a mistake, it's because you're feeling bad, or it's because of who you are as a person, or what you're going through, or your personal unique experience. So we study it differently. And it's because we have different ideas of what is meaningful and what is significant. And I should say, like, when it comes to aggression, I do believe that some people, for genetic reasons and for evolutionary advantages, are more aggressive. I've always felt like I've always valued people that are a little more aggressive, that have this fighting spirit in them. I always admire people like that. I value it, but I don't feel like I have it myself. I feel like if somebody doesn't agree with me, or somebody questions me, then I have to stop and think. Like, I have to stop and analyze. So where does that person come from in this? Why do they do it? Why don't they agree with me? What's the reason? I don't challenge them on it. I don't question them for it. I don't think they've done any. I don't assert myself. I don't say I know what's best. I don't try to assert myself to them or tell them they're idiots. I don't try to tell them they don't know. Because I don't think I'm wired like that. I don't think I'm wired to be able to challenge others on that level, or to stand up. Like, I told once, a person was trying to coach me to become like this leader figure in the Green Party. But I told her, like, I don't think I'm wired to be a leader. I'm not the person that can call the shots or say, hey, everyone, let's do this. I can't tell everyone what to do. I can't give orders. I can't push. I can't assert what I believe over other people, because I don't like that. I don't like to push or assert myself. and I don't think I want to either. Ferry says, I feel this inner aggression a bit too much sometimes. I don't want to attack people, but I have this fighter spirit in me, the toughest situations I can live through. And I said that I admire people with the fighting spirit. It's like I've always surrounded myself with people that have this kind of fire, like a lot of my closest friends have been people that get into a lot of arguments and conflict and drama just because they have strong personalities. I love strong personalities, people that stand for something, people that can hold their ground, people that can push themselves forward. People that go a little like this. I find that very fascinating, and it kind of gets me out of my comfort zone in a way. My general inclination is just to spread myself out, to understand everyone, to see all perspectives, to come at things from every angle, to understand everyone and everything. And that's why I can't really get angry, because that's not where I start. I think I am more angry with myself than I am with other people. And I think I'm more inclined to feel guilty or feel bad about myself than to feel contempt or disgust towards others. It's far more likely that I feel anxious about my own ability than that I would feel bad about other people or how they are doing. Like, to me, everyone is doing what they can and what they do. Everyone's just doing their best. And then I focus more on myself. How can I develop myself? How can I improve? But it's weird, and it's brings us to the heart of like perception. Um, can we ever truly understand what it's like inside somebody else? Can we um, know what it's like to be a thinker or to feel like they do? Because in one way, that feels like I get a headache just thinking about it, just getting into that mindset, and it's like I have to in my me are like they're pointed in the wrong direction. And uh yeah, it just hurts my head to try. But then I wonder what I do when I try to empathize with people. uh what is it exactly that I'm doing? It really would be interesting. If you are able to do that, I think then you're gonna be a next level empath, like the most empathic of empaths. Like, there's a difference between being able to understand that someone feels a certain way. Like, I can understand that 9TJ feels a certain way or that they experience things a certain way, but I can't actually experience it. I can't actually suddenly become that and see that way. It, that's not possible to me. I can only say that I can only account for their perspective from like in an objective sense, and in a sense, it's like they see the world in different color. Susu says, I find myself sometimes getting angry at people when they don't try to change their perspective and fail to understand things from the other person's eyes. It's irritating to me. And I can actually relate to that. If I do get angry with other people, it's because they don't read, because they don't see, because they don't try to listen, or because they don't try to understand. That's the one thing, I think something I was thinking about when studying people that value fairness. Enneagram 9 types value fairness a lot. Um, is that nines are said to not get angry or not be able to get angry, but truth is, nines get angry in one particular situation. Nines get angry when people break their sense of justice. If nines have a sense of justice. This is how we should treat one another. And then somebody breaks that. That's when a nine gets angry. A nine can get upset if you start, if they are doing something to promote harmony or to make sure things are working well, and then you start ignoring that or not like seeing that. That's when they can just blow up at you. We are all ISTPs, INFPs, ESTJs, ISTJs, for etc. A Mac can run Windows and a PC can run a Mac. The difference is not the paint job or the spoiler, but what's beneath the hood. It's so true, Tomorrow. Uh, what is underneath the hood? So, where I am in my own self discovery process, I tend to say that I am at level 3 of 10. Like I feel like I'm just getting started. I'm just 25 years old. I barely had my first job yet. I'm just trying things out. I'm just taking my first steps. Uh, I'm just starting to grow. I'm starting this from my personal perspective. Uh, what I'm kind of getting over is idolizing aggressive people, idolizing fighters, idolizing people that are more assertive, idolizing or feeling pressure to become more assertive, idolizing people that can believe, people that have like this religious or spiritual inclination, people that can just know something. And I'm starting to embrace and accept and understand and love the way I am, like to love my ability to question, to love my ability to understand, and to love my ability to just be who I am. And I feel like that will make it so much easier to make videos in the future. Like I struggle sometimes with making videos. I'll be honest. Sometimes it is difficult because I feel I've always felt this pressure with it, this pressure to hit the next level or to uh, do something better, to improve. And I'm so self-critical of myself, and I feel like it's not going fast enough, or I feel like I'm not improving enough, or I feel like I'm going in circles. But that's not productive. That's not going to improve me as a YouTuber. That's not going to help me make better videos. And I don't know if all of you have had that, but I realized I have like these spirals of insight. I have some insight that keeps on hitting me because I feel like I've told myself this so many times. I've told myself this when I was 10. I've told myself this when I was 13. I've told myself this when I was 15. I've told myself this when I was 20. And every time it did shift me, every time it did help me. It helped me get through my studies, school, family conflicts, issues in politics, or issues I had as a leader. It helped me throughout every stage in my life. But every time I hear the insight, it's like a reminder. Like I feel like I need an ongoing reminder once in a while. And I feel like every time I carve out something more from it, yeah, like I need to hear it over and over once a year or every once a year. Like I should set a calendar reminder to myself for next year. Remember, remember this. Remember to not set so much pressure on yourself. Remember that you're not like this diamond that you can chisel out. Remember that you're a flower that you should water, that you should support, that you should nurture. Because that is how I will keep growing. That's how I will keep improving. So I was thinking I wanted to start on a new series. Like I feel like I want to do this new thing where I want to have real conversations with people on YouTube. And I want to talk with people that have some kind of question or something that they're pondering, like some existential truth to life, like how can like dealing with some existential experience, like a breakup or depression or some kind of struggle. And I want to talk with people that have these struggles or people that experience or witness these struggles in other people. And I want to kind of dive into this and go like, why does this exist? Where does this come from? Why are we depressed? Why do we go through this? Like, and I want to understand this from the personal perspective of that person, but also as a human collective. And so I kind of need your help. I need you to find people with interesting questions, or I need you to think of interesting questions or interesting mysteries. So, like, imagine this: like, we could call it your human mystery, like, or everyone's mystery, or something like that has to do with just the exploration of life and human existential questions, like what does it mean to be kind, or how can we be kind in a world where kindness isn't valued or appreciated, or how can we be brave, or what does it mean to be brave, uh, and where we just like dig into it together. I feel like that could be really fascinating. I feel like part of my reframe is going from diagnosing personality types to investigating human experience, investigating our values, investigating how we feel about things, investigating uh, the questions of privacy, freedom, ambition, and how we can nurture and support it, how we can nurture honesty in the world. And uh, so I ask you, like, have you ever had difficult experiences being honest with people or speaking out about how you feel? What is the biggest issues you face doing it? What have you ever had difficulties nurturing your ambition or working towards your ambition? And what are those difficulties? Have you had the difficulty with the question of being an intelligent girl, for example? They say intelligent girls are less attractive to guys, and they say that people are less inclined to want to date an intelligent female. So a lot of girls feel this pressure to dumb themselves down. So that's also like one thing, is all of these things I'm thinking about, all of these things I'm wondering about. Because human mysteries are like the biggest mysteries of them all. Like, they are the most interesting to solve and the most valuable to solve. Martin says ESFPs are boring. They talk about nothing. I have to admit, I have this. Sometimes I watch reality TV. In part, it's because my girlfriend likes to watch reality TV and she makes me watch it. But in part, I can find it fascinating. And oh my God, it's fascinating to observe ESFPs, and it's fascinating to observe ESTPs and ESTJs and everyone. And that kind of ties into just how truly absurd it is, and to try to see the world from another type's perspective. How weird it feels, how like counterintuitive it feels. Uh, uh, we sometimes watch 90 Day Fiance, and we watch Married at First Sight, and we watch uh, yeah, Love Island and all kinds of these like televisions. Sometimes they're almost refreshing because they kind of remind you that there's other people out there, another world out there where people have a completely different interest to you and are concerned with completely different things. Iris says, we needed love in order to help some genes that are important in other individuals continue on. And without other directed love, that wouldn't be possible. Love has to be other directed. It can't be self directed because then it wouldn't be able to stand against selfishness. Ferry it says, call it mystery. Oh my god. I like it though. I actually like it. I don't know if love has to be other directed. I mean, for yourself. And I think it's more difficult to love yourself if you're selfish, because then you kind of still have this guilt over being selfish. If you don't feel proud of yourself, if you don't feel happy for the choices you make, if you don't feel good about yourself or what you do, then how can you love yourself? Uh, Often it is people that are kind, people that are brave, people that are able to achieve great things. It's those that are able to love themselves. People that are selfish or cowardly, or people that sail on other people or use other people, or that fake success or anything like that. They, I don't think they can love themselves, and I don't think they can love other people for it. Amos says, if self directed love brings me to selfishness, that means that my problem is not self love, but self esteem. Iris says, it's not like that. It's more against the argument that love can't be selfless. We can be truly do something good for the sake of others without selfish motives. Yeah, we can. Definitely. Honestly, a lot of the psychology and the research in psychology suggests that people that are arrogant or people that are narcissistic struggle with self-love. They they overcompensate for uh, feeling bad about themselves through vanity or through um, being narcissistic in a sense. Like it's that feeling. In psychology, they talk a lot about overcompensation, which is like when you feel bad about something, so you project this image towards other people. You feel bad about yourself, so you project this image of being perfect to everyone else and of being great and of being amazing and everything like that. While at home and when nobody can see you, you actually don't feel that good. Do you have any INTPs out there who don't know where they are and what they're doing? Well, I think that's 90% of all INTPs. Uh, if you go to the INTP Facebook group, that's all you hear almost. how can we live with our own life and be ourselves when we are also when we are so constrained with economic and social pressure? Like, honestly, I don't think we can. Something I realized is like, okay, so um 1.5 years ago, I took this leap. I registered ericthor.com. I started up the YouTube channel, and I started doing all these things. I started setting all these levels in motion, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't know where I was headed. I didn't know how it would go or anything. So I just threw myself out there. And honestly, if it wasn't for all of you, like I'm talking about like people on Patreon that contributed. I'm talking about people that tune into the videos, that came and picked me up. Like, I would have fallen, I would have hit the ground, I would have been so uh I would have been at the bottom of a hole. Like, I took a great risk. I moved to Amsterdam, no money, nothing. Like, I was completely stranded. And I just hoped it would work out. And honestly, in hindsight, I know I should have thought about it more. But I was so lucky in a sense that, well, you all found my videos, that you were patient with me, even though I was struggling through like bad cameras, bad editing. I didn't have my flow. I didn't have my voice. I didn't have anything, in the beginning. Even though like I didn't know or have understand all my theories yet, and even though I was just like getting started, like you all came and picked me up and were patient with me. You went into my Patreon, you became contributors. And that's like the thing with social pressure and combating social pressure and financial worries. uh, it's only something we can combat together. Like, something I feel so bad about is like, I know so many of my friends that I know have great ideas, great potential, so much ambition, but life stands in their way. Like, they have issues paying their bills, they have issues getting a job, they have issues surviving, issues managing it in the world. They've got a job that they hate or that stresses them out, and they want to get something else at some point. They want to get money for studies. Like, we're so many people that are kind of stuck, and we need to help each others, and we need to foster that potential in each others, and we need to hold each others up. Uh, we need to. I felt like last year was all about building a community and just getting started and just finding my voice. And this year is kind of about making it stick, and about really setting my foot down, and also really about spreading my roots and connecting to other people. So I just started a Facebook group, and I'm going to be more active on Discord, and I'm going to do more, and I'm going to be more present and more available, as present as I can be from the limits of myself, of who I am. I still need downtime. I still need time to myself. Yeah, I have my own life, of course. But I'm gonna definitely try to help you all out more if I can. So I'll pass along a link, and I'll also pass along a link to the Discord, because the Discord is where all the chats are happening, all the discussions. We're gonna have voice channel chats. I set a new goal on Patreon. We're at 19 Patreons right now. 19 people pledged this month. If we hit 25, I think we should just do a great hangout together on Discord. So we should all just meet up on Discord, on the voice channels, and we should just do a great a discussion together about all kinds of things, psychology and life. And then if we get 50, we can have an even bigger Discord chat after that. And then if we get 75, maybe an even bigger after that. Like, we can just keep on building more communities and making it bigger, because the more people we are, the bigger impact we can have on each other's and on the world around us. So I'm gonna start rounding up this live stream. But are there any questions? Anything on your mind? Any ideas? What would you say that? What kind of question are you kind of pondering or processing right now? Think back to something that happened to you recently, or perhaps a thought or something something you're stuck on. Susu is hungry, and she asks if anyone wants anything. Or you can always send over a pizza to me if you like. Milena Kasaka struggles with exhaustion and burnout due to work. I've been there. It's a difficult thing. It's definitely something we should talk more about. Logan Paul. Ah, my God. What the hell was he thinking? Damn. Flambeau says to be outgoing, but at the same time knowing where you are going in life. Yeah, like to when you're going to go out, like when I go out there, sometimes I get lost. Like I don't know where I'm headed, or and then I have to step back, and then I have to go out again, and then I have to step back, and then I have to go out again. It's definitely something we should discuss. So yeah, I'm gonna pass on 3 links to you. I'm gonna disappear, and then I'm gonna share 3 links with you. My computer keyboard broke down, so that's why I can't really write anything in chat right now. But I'm gonna fix that eventually. Uh, but I'm gonna share a link to our new forum on Facebook. I'm gonna share a link to the Human Mystery, where you can email your mystery or your questions or the things you want to discuss. And ideally, I want to meet up with you on Google Hangout and just have a talk with you. And then I hope we can make a good video out of it. And I'm gonna pass the link to the Discord, of course. And yeah, thank you all for joining up, and thanks for having a good discussion with me, and yeah, for being here. We were 30 people, 35 through sometimes, like through and through. So that's great. That's a lot more than usual. So I like that. I like you guys.